Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Aurogiri. So today, finally, we are going over the staff guide. Now in a way you can say staff guide part 1, but in essence there are going to be 2 staff guides because staff is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Most commonly, you'll notice, and I noticed this first when I first started getting into Onigiri, when I was like level 90, 80, like in Ichigo, one of our best players at the time, I'd never really seen the guy, but I got into a run with him and I noticed what he was using, and he had 3 weapons and a staff, and at the time I had 4 weapons, and everyone was just scrubbing around. Everyone had 4 weapons, everyone had like if I was like bow twin, so I had like 2 bows, or like 3 bows and a twin, it was very scrubbish. But over time, I saw this player his weapons were all 100. He had, 3 swords and a staff. And I'm like, okay, so why does he have a staff? And he had a staff, because back then, people only had a staff, like, if they were, like, a staff main. Like, it was this rare thing. And I noticed that he had 3 weapons and a staff, and the only reason he had a staff was to give himself meditation and rapid storm, to buff himself. And I thought, that's probably where the meta was going, and I was right. At first I didn't understand it, but then I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, not having to rely on people for rapid storm and stuff, and speed and invig. It was great, and he was doing great times. It was awesome. So that brings us to the whole topic of what is a support staff. So when I say support staff, there's 2 ways you can look at it. So in an MMO, if someone says, I'm going to play support, that means they're going to specialize in healing and buffs and this and that. And in Onigiri, it's kind of different. So at first in the game, before 105s, healing's great. People want that extend heal. They want that cure 7. They want to stay alive. And I'm not trying to say that people get suicidal after, but when you get to the 105 fused Tempest, Gargoyle meta, where you're stronger the less health you have, there became this divide in what a support does in the game, because a lot of people want to maximize their DPS. They minimalize in vitality, they don't touch it, therefore they cannot heal as much, and they can stay at a low health threshold for longer periods of time. However, if you get healed constantly and you're always at full health, depending on your weapons, now I'm mostly talking about gargoyles in this instance and 105s, fuse mags, the lower your health, the stronger you are. So healing isn't as important as it once was. However, this is also a case-by-case basis. So what I'm getting to is Onigiri is very special and unique in how its support works, where healing is only desired in like a few instances. Like generally you don't want to die, so you want to heal someone, but at the same time you don't want to heal them too much so that they're over half and they complain and this and that. To me, like I've always said, and it probably because I'm spear and I have high vitality anyway, but I've always said, as long as I'm alive, it's fine. If I'm over half, it doesn't matter. I'll get hit later. Just keep me alive. That's generally my view of it. But depending on the situation, like an Oni mode battle, like Oni Palace, or something where you have a time constraint or you want to deal as much damage as physically possible, like in Mephistopheles, or, basically just big boss fights, or when a Vanguard is concerned, and Vanguards only have so much time and they don't have sacrifice, healing is a bit frowned upon. So what exactly is a support staff? So if you were to be a pure staff main in the game, a pure staff main, you're going to have 4 staffs, and you can attack with the staff as well. It is very possible to make an attack staff complete easy. So, lots of things to consider. So the number 1 important support skill, in my opinion, the number 1 most important skill for support in the game is invigorate. So invigorate, you throw it onto someone, they start healing their SP, it starts to regenerate. It's a little bit of it takes a little bit of your SP to give them like a lot of SP. So like my staff originally had triple invigorate, so I can invigorate my whole team because invigorate is stronger than meditation. But over time, as our attacks get stronger, like our weapons get stronger, and you have accessories and stuff, one meditate can be like potentially better than an invigorate in some instances. So invigorate starts to fall off the higher level you get. I mean, it's still great to have at least one invigorate on your weapon, but it's probably one of the most important things. And then later came Resurrection, and Resurrection 7 is on a lot of staff skills. Or not on staff, it's on a lot of the skill card set, like 8 or 9 or something. Skill card set 7 is Resurrection 7, probably the easiest way to get Resurrection, else you get it from the Point Daruma in a 4, 5, or 6 variant. Needless to say, Resurrection has become very staple. Like most staffs nowadays, like if you only have one staff on your character, generally everyone's going to have Invigorate, Resurrection, and then a third mystery skill. So, and generally it's going to be like Invigorate, Resurrection, and Cure, or Strike Boost. It's generally one of those 4 moves. So Invigorate, Resurrection, Strike Boost, and Cure. And then as for your Ogis, everyone's going to have at least one staff with Rapid Storm to move fast. Meditation to keep themselves, pumped up when you're playing by yourself. It's great. Like, that's what my staff is. Invigorate, Resurrection, another Invigorate, and then Meditation, Rapid Storm. It's a very basic staff, the Medi-Rapid combo. Other staffs that exist, I do have a couple other. I'm going to pull them out here, because I too have made some staffs. Some of these staffs just exist because they exist. I have a Bloodsucker, Phantom Bloodsucker, with, what does it have on? This is like my boss fight staff. So it has the Cure 7, the Resurrection 7, the Invigorate, and then Extend Heal, Extend Heal. So double Extend Heal. So the reason why you want double Extend Heal is for places where you don't want to die. Like, and where rewards don't really matter. Like, places like Lucifer and Satan, where you don't want your teammates to die, Extend Heal is very useful. Like, most people will have an Extend Heal staff at some point. Generally, you'll have one staff with Rapid Medi, and then another staff with Extend Heal, Cure, Invigorate, Resurrection, all that good stuff. So that's generally what a support staff would use. Now, I know I wanted to start with what a pure staff would use, but I changed my little, direction. Wanted to go with support staff first because there are way more people that just wear a staff and 3 weapons just because of Medi and Rapid and etc. So that's generally how it's set up. That's how I play. Some people do have Strike Boost as well, like I said, and Strike Boost is OP. There's actually a recent change to the game made in our skill card settings, actually, where one of these skill card sets that used to have, I believe, Shadow Ball on it? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, like there used to be a card for staff that had Shadow Ball 7 on it, and that was skill card set 9. And that was changed from Shadow Ball 7 to Strike Boost 7. So they didn't tell anyone, they just changed it, and we noticed it like this or last update, that it's now Strike Boost instead of Shadow Ball. So now Strike Boost 7 is available, and Strike Boost 7 is a very interesting skill, because it's not like the other staff skills, where normally a staff skill has to pass a mental check. That's why mind is important. And I say this all the time, where in order to cast a rank 7 staff skill, you need at least 75 mind. So for that Resurrection 7, that Cure 7, that Strike Boost 7, you need a minimum of 75 mind to cast it without fail. However, please note that Resurrection always has a chance to fail. It's just part of how it works. So that said, how should you build a character if you're going to be pure staff? So if you're not pure, like I'm saying, if you're not pure staff, generally most people will have 75 mind, just so that you get your SP regen per tick, it's higher, and so that you can cast all your skills without failing. So most builds will always be like, your main stat is your affinity, then you're going to have 75 mind, then you're going to have some amount of dex for crit and all that, and then the rest of your points probably go into wisdom or power, depending. Lancelot changes that a lot, but for the most part, if you're just throwing on a staff for support for yourself and to help your teammates every now and then, 75 mind is all you need. And I've always said that, like, there's no support because everyone that has a staff is support. But there is such a thing as pure support, and it does good work if your team supports it. It's more of a team-based role. So if you were to say be a pure staff user, if you were to be a pure staff user, you would have, 100 mind. You would want that full affinity. You want all the mind, and you do want all the mind because a lot of staff skills rely on having an insanely high mind stat, an incredibly high mind stat. So if you were to play staff and you want to be pure staff, I'll tell you the build right now. You want to be, 100 mind, like you'd be 100 mind, 100 dex, and then like the rest into wisdom. And like that's it. Like you would just go max mind, max dex, max wisdom, or you can go max mind, max wisdom, and then dex. Like it's pretty much you touch every important stat. Like you don't need to touch power and you don't need to touch vitality. So if you just max out mind and then just min-max dex until you get the most amount of crit from it, and then just put points into wisdom as well for crit and SP, and then the rest of your points, you can put them into power if you want. It won't do you any good. Like, it won't do you any good until Lancelot weapons come for you at level 125. And at that point, you should know just reset your stats for the extra attack and stuff if you want it. But generally speaking, like 100 mind, as much crit as you can get from dex, and then as much crit as you can get from wisdom with the remainder of your points. It's not too difficult because you're already investing into the mind stat, so that's taken care of. Then it's the dex stat, and then it's the wisdom stat, like it's done. It's not like the other classes where you need to invest into power or vit and then go into the other ones. It's like you're already doing it. So it's not very difficult to build it. You could put vitality if you want, but if your heals are as strong as they are, like if you're actually having skill force mags, your extend heal will like full heal you like every time. I'm most positive of it. So moving on from that, let's go over some staff skills. So the reason you want to have a lot of mind is because some skills really heavily rely on mind. So in this list here, we have, Cure. Cure is the first skill. It's 100% holy. To my knowledge, holy doesn't affect a staff skill. I'm not entirely sure of that yet. We used to say it did. Some people say it doesn't. I'd have to test it more, and I apologize for that. But it's not too bad. So on the wiki too, if you guys ever want to know how much mind you need for stuff, and I still think 75 is all you really truly need. If you're not pure staff. Like on Cure, it says if you want to cast Cure 2, you need 20 mind, and then 3 is 30, 4 is 40, and so on and so forth up until like 7. It's like 70 for 7. So that's Cure. Then you have Energy Ball. Energy Ball is this weird skill. It only goes to 4, so Energy Ball is like never going to be affected by your mags unless it's like you're under half and a 105 triggers, but Energy Ball is like, it heals people very minorly. It's not amazing. It's cool to put it down, but it's not gonna game change anything. Like the skill exists, but it's not amazing. Then you have First Aid. First Aid 5 is cool. It only targets yourself. It heals you like a little bit, and its real purpose only really exists so that if you have a staff with triple first aid on it, you can use it and just spam all 3 skills to fill up your Vanguard. It's a lot of Dura and stuff, but every single use will give you Vanguard charge. So a first aid staff is pretty cool. Then you have Heal, and Heal is like, it only goes from rank 1 to 5, and it's easily eclipsed by Cure. Like Heal it's really garbage. Like don't use it. Only use Cure. I'm not gonna play around it. Like Heal is garbage. Then you have Healing. Healing only exists in rank 4. It's like extend heal, but it's garbage. Like, yeah, like ignore this skill altogether. Invigorate. Invigorate is amazing. Invigorate has no skill force, so Invigorate's power is all concentrated from, hitting a certain attack tier. So there's Dark, dread there. So I'm going to use invigorate on him with this staff, and it's going to invigorate him for 45. So like it's all attack based. So if I were to remove my Nobunaga, right, like this accessory, I remove it, I go to this Nobunaga, you know, I'll leave it on. So right now my attack is 11,000. So I'm gonna invigorate him again, and it's now doing 43. So I lost like 2,000 attack by doing that. So if I were to, like, if I re-equip it, it'll gain like 3,000 attack or something. Like, see, it's like 1860, and that's enough to push me to 13k attack. That's all that matters, is hitting the next 1,000. That's what adds on to your invigorate. So if I remove the second accessory, remove it here, another 18, I'm at 9, whatever. So I should be doing a 41 invig. 40 or 41. 41. So each of these accessories gives me 2,000 attack. Therefore, each of them adds 1 point to my invig. Therefore, if you had an invig, if you had an attack with your staff of like, you know, well, every 1,000 more. So if I had 18,000 attack with my staff, like how much attack do I have with my star? My star, I have 22. So with the star, I would do 54. So like if I had 1,000 more attack, I'd do 55, 2,000, 56, etc., etc. So it's all attack based. So generally staffs are, like other weapons, all about attack. Attack is all that matters. If I wasn't so sure that my game was going to crash if I changed mags, I'd put a Burai mag on and show you guys that you can put a Burai on and it gives you 15% attack or 30% or whatever it is, and my invig would increase a lot. So staff users could technically tech in a Burai for a lot of their skills if they're pure support and no DPS. So, you know, that's another thing to consider. Then we have Resurrection. Resurrection here. Resurrection is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 doesn't really exist. And it requires 70. It always has a chance to miss, but at rank 7, it takes 75 total mind to be able to cast it flawlessly. So that's why you need 75 mind on your staff. Then you have a move called Sanctuary. Now, Sanctuary actually has a lot of potential. If you can get yourself a Sanctuary, a high level Sanctuary from a skill change or skill card or whatever it may be, there's actually a really good tech. If you had 3 Sanctuaries on a weapon, like Sanctuary 555 or 556 or whatever, and it was on a strong enough staff and you threw it down, you could literally heal yourself for like 1,000, like thousands of HP per second, and you could tank things you normally wouldn't be able to tank. And it's really cool. I've seen some videos of it online. I don't remember who it was, but they were a staff user. They were fighting Gargoyle. They threw down like 3 Sanctuaries, and they were just fighting within that Sanctuary, and it was amazing. Like, it was really awesome. Like, you could switch to another staff that had like Shadow Ball on it or something, or some ranged attack like Holy Light, while you're in your little barrier and protect your teammates. Or throw it down for your teammates and have your wand users or archers just shoot crazy stuff out of it while they're healing. Like, it's really cool. Sanctuary has a lot of potential if used correct. Then you have Idaten's Grace and Godspeed. Now, these skills only exist in rank 3, 5, and 7. And basically you just target one ally and you give them speed. Idaten's Grace. It's great to have it, but Rapid Storm will replace it ultimately. Like, no one uses Idaten's Grace anymore because everyone just has Rapid Storm. Idaten's Grace is more movement speed than Rapid Storm, but it's less practical when most people will have Rapid Storm anyway. So Idaten's Grace is kind of obsolete in my opinion. Magic Shield is an interesting thing. Magic Shield exists in rank 4, 5, 6, and 7. And Magic Shield is a move similar to Strike Boost, where it says it's a 100% chance to give 700 magical defense for a minute. And it requires, 35 mind to cast it. However, it says if you have 35 mind, it's a 100% chance to give someone 1050 defense. If you have 55, like the more mind you have, it increases and increases and increases. Like, and this is only for the rank 4. Like, if you had 80 mind, you can give someone like 1300 defense. So let's just scroll down to like Magic Shield 7, just for example. So to cast Magic Shield 7, you need at least 70 points. And at 70 points, you're going to give someone 2000 defense for a minute. If you had 120 mind, you'd give them 2400 defense. If you had 125 mind, you'd give them 3000 defense. And if you had 135 mind, you'd give them 4000 defense for 60 seconds. Now, this is a lot of stuff that not a lot of people knew. I wasn't really familiar with it before myself. Now, some might be asking, well, how the hell do I get 135 mind? Now, if you look at my stats right now, I have 62 points invested into mind. And if I were to be holding my spear, it shows that I have 62 plus 13, exactly 75. But my star staff, the Satan staffs come with a buffer that gives you 20 mind, and a cross would give you 24 mind. Now the bloodsucker, I think it gives me mind as well. It gives me 5. Nothing substantial, but it does. Now this is where the cross staff comes in handy. A cross, even late game, a cross or star, because it has the extra mind on it. Let's say I fully invested. Hey, Kawaii Unicorn, I saw your comment earlier. How you doing? Unicorn, that's right. So if we look at my vitality stat, for example, like if I would have actually been a staff user who was like defensive or kind, whichever, you know, I would have, like for vitality here, my title gives me 5, but let's just go by the power stat, whatever. So if I had 100 power, I'd have 126 power naturally. So we'd hit that 125 threshold very easily, just for this example, right? So if I were to like fully invest in mind and I had 126 points in mind, assuming it's distributed the same way, or even more, I still wouldn't hit that 135 threshold. So as a staff user, for moves like Magic Shield, and this is going to be the same for Magic Shield and Unbreakable Aura, and it's going to be the same for Strike Boost. So basically those 3 skills are what you want to put on there, if you can get the rank 7s of them, that is. If you can make a cross with Strike Boost, Magic Shield, and Unbreakable Aura, which is the physical defense, the special defense, and the attack, you would give your teammates the biggest benefit of it all. So like Magic Shield, 4000 defense per second. Not per second, for a whole minute. And then Strike Boost is the exact same. Scrolling down to it here, the rank 7, you would give your teammate 4,370 something attack for 30 seconds. However, to get that, you need a total of 150 mind. You need 150 mind to be able to cast that. Like, that is huge. Magic Shield 7, however, this is weird. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Like, so you want to hit that. If you can hit that 150 threshold, like that's the highest. Like 135 is the second highest, but 150. If you can get 150 mind on your character, you'd be able to just buff them insanely, your teammates, and give them a huge attack. Because when you buff someone and you give them the max attack, so if you gave someone 4000 attack, that attack is then amplified by accessories if they had accessories. And they're also amplified by their weapon effect. If their weapon's plus 100, it gives them that 10% attack. If it's a Lancelot weapon and they give you 10% attack at level 128, just saying for example here, that base attack of 4000 is going to get multiplied by all of those attack buffers because it's on your character and it's going to be affected by them. So if you can have, on a staff user, like a cross that gives you that extra 40 mind for those buff moves, you can help your teammates a lot more than if you just had like a Mephisto. Like you could have a nadir staff and it wouldn't buff your teammates as well as if you had a cross just for support. So that's something that is really awesome. Like something like it's worth considering if you want to make a staff for buffing for strike boost. Like everyone loves the 117, the Gecko Oborodori because it gives you that extra attack. That staff isn't exactly the best for these buff moves, the crosses. And El Sin and the L staff don't have those buffs. So the cross is still a good weapon. The cross, the star, at this point with recipe reduction, you might as well make a cross. But the cross has that potential to give a stronger buff than other staffs because it affects your stats directly. So that's an awesome tidbit I wanted to share. And that's the same with Unbreakable Aura. Unbreakable Aura should just it should just mirror the others. Like you need a certain mind count. Yeah. Like it's pretty awesome. So like that'd be a really cool thing. But if you did only rank 5s, I don't think you need that high of a boost. Like if you were rank 5, you'd only have to get to 127, which is probably doable, but you might need to like roll the Heavenly Shield somewhere for a couple mind. But yeah, even if it was just rank 5s, like having that high mind potential is awesome. And if you had a star or a cross or whatever, you'd hit it no problem. So then that's all of the staff's real buffing moves until you get to the Ogis. And then the Ogis are, let me find these here. Like you have offensive Ogis as well, because a lot of moves are, you know, distributed for every class. But there are still Ogis like, you know, Extend Heal, Rapid Storm, Meditation. That's really cool. I'm just looking at other things that are in like the debug skills. Like that's really cool. Like Extend Heal, Geki. Oh my god, there's so many weird skills. Yeah. And Rapid Storm. That is awesome. So that's basically all like the support staff skills. So generally it's going to be, you know, Cure, Sanctuary, if used as you want, First Aid, Rapid Storm, you know, Daton's Grace, Unbreakable Aura, Strike Boost, and Magic Shield. Like, they're all great. They're all awesome buff moves. They're all support skills. Like, it's sort of the thing where you'd make a cross just for those buff moves, and then you'd make like an Oborodori for like Cure, Extend Heal, you know, things like that depend on your attack, whereas buff moves don't matter in your attack. As long as you have the mind, the buffs don't matter. So that's why a cross is great for it. Yeah. So then, generally speaking, for a staff, you'd want to have... And it wouldn't even be affected by skill force either, like the strike boosts and stuff. They don't have the... they don't have skill force at all, these moves. So you don't need to worry about your mags for a lot of these support moves, except for Cure. Cure relies on skill force to do its job. Same thing with Sanctuary and Extend Heal, things like that. The skill force really matters, but attack after a while is enough. 115, yeah, no more Hyotengu, man. So lots of options. So let's say we were to build like a support staff character, right? So we'd have no weapon. Like, let's just say we have no weapon. It's just 4 staffs. So you'd have a cross with the 3 buff moves, and then you can have Rapid Storm and Medi on that. Medi really depends on your attack, so you don't have to have Medi on it, but you could have like Rapid Storm and Extend Heal or whatever. You don't really need... If you had 4 staffs, you wouldn't even need 2 Ogis on the weapon. Tell you the truth. And then if you wanted like a pure, you could have a staff with triple cure as well, just like one to heal your teammates, like cure, res, like you could have a staff with 3 reses on it too. Like my buddy Suzaku has a staff with cure or invig, one of the two, with 2 reses. He has like res res 6, res 7, res 5, whatever, and you just like, you can do that because you invest in the point room. So you could have a staff with triple res for your team. Like if you're going to be that team member, everyone's fighting like a big boss and everyone's going to die, you could be that guy who's got like res, res, res. Like, but if you don't, like, obviously there are resurrection potions and they can just res everybody anyway. Having a real res gives people actual health when they get up. But it really is all up to you. But yeah, you could have a staff all res, you could have a staff all buffs, you can have a staff all cures, and then you could have a staff with 3 invigs and like medi and like rapid if you wanted. Like if you were to go pure staff, you could do so much for your team. Like it would be ridiculous. So long as you had a really powerful medi or a way to keep your SP high, you could just give everybody like the strike boost, the defense, the magic defense. You'd have 3 reses on deck for your team. You'd have like rapid storm, Godspeed. You can give someone specific speed. Like there's so much you can do. Like it is frowned upon because like staff generally is frowned upon because you can't do anything on your own. And a lot of the Onigiri meta is just doing stuff on your own anyway. Like it's a team game, but it's very possible to like do the whole game by yourself. So playing all staff it could be really fun, but you're very dependent on others. And in this game, you can literally just self-support yourself, and you don't need this. But it'd be really cool to have it, so long as you had a full good DPS on your team. It's going good. It's going pretty good, Oreo. I'm just talking about making a guide about support staff, like all the different skills and all the different weapons they're good on and things like that. Like most people have the 117 staff, they have the, you know, a cross or a 117, and then some people will go and make like a Mephistopheles staff, or you know, they get a Glacier staff, or they get a 113 staff. They use those. Not many people go out of their way to make like a gargoyle staff and stuff. A lot of people do, but it's more like a flexing thing. Like I have a gargoyle staff for attack, but some people just made a gargoyle staff to have it for the higher attack and the extra skill force and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it does take a while for them to get into the high, like for offense, yeah. That's why I'm making 2 separate things. I'm doing one for support, and then I'm doing one for attack staff. Because attack staff is not to be underestimated. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, you can go in, like, if you had, like, 3 knowledge mags or mastery mags, things that actually give you dark, then, you know, because you're generally the crucifix mags are negative dark. But once you get into that dark, if you can get into, like, a knowledge mag and that sort of setting with Lancelot weapons with high-ass attack, you can go in, like, on a Supreme or a Dayton Rue or something, and you could like triple soul strike, nether illusion trap, sublime, shadow ball spam. Like the dark mage is so cool. Like they have so much potential. And then you have a pure holy build. Like if you had like Tempest Crucifix or Fuse Crucifix or something, and you go in with like triple holy light on like an El Sin. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what it's called, yeah. Like, it's bonkers. Like, people are going to switch to it when those mags come out on PS4. I can see it. People are itching to be that cool kid with the staff. Like, it can do work. It's just a shame that the Fuse and the 105s are negative to dark. But, you know, it's waiting to come out and play. Yeah. So in terms of the crucifix mags themselves, those are the 105s for staff. They are great to have, but for pure support, apart from curing, you don't really need them. Like, I do have 3 crucifixes, but I could just go make, like I said, I could make a cross, and I could support just fine. Because invigorate is not affected by skill force, resurrection is not affected by skill force, strike boost, magic shield, unbreakable aura. Skill force doesn't affect any of them. Skill force only really affects cure, heal, like sanctuary, first aid, and then extend heal, Geki. Meditation and rapid aren't affected by it either. it's all just like they're just static effects. Meditation is all attack based, and you'd be better off just playing like 4 Burais or something. But like it's really interesting. But in the next guide, when we go into attack staff, in attack staff, we're gonna go over like how you can really take advantage of skills, because like moves like you can actually run knowledge mastery for cure. Oh yeah, you could, yeah. Oh yeah. I was looking at that earlier. Like they don't work off the holy. Like before, we used to think the holy mattered, but it doesn't really. The only thing it would really help is like holy light and holy pillar, or hurt in this case. But yeah, it's not affected by it. Yeah. Like, and the same thing is when you get like a fusion bear. Fusion bear for staff is huge. Like, even if you just have a fusion bear for your own needs, when you have a fusion bear, your extend heal gets buffed by that skill force. It is huge. It is amazing. You get that attack buff, you get everything. Like, that's why I'm not hamming too hard on Crucifix. Like, it's great to have it if you have them for staff, but if you, like, if I were to go like perma staff, I would get me some fusion bears. Like fusion bear and knowledge, and in the future even rumbling for like rolling thunder would be so much better than a Crucifix, in my opinion. Like, there's so many other options out there for staff that make staff so cool that it takes advantage of the other things so well. Like I've played with Rolling Thunder 7 on my El Sin, and I love it. You could make a Rolling Thunder staff El Sin and do work if you had like mags with lightning on them, and you know, a rumbling mag in the future. Like, it can do a lot of work. Sure, you can't use it with things like Fusion Bear, but Fusion Bear is rain. Like, Crucifix Fused has rain on it. It's awesome. Rain of Judgment, if it hits something, is going to do like 1,000,000 a tick if you built up a rhyme. Like, it's amazing. And then you have moves like Chase Blister, which is a little homing bubble attack, which is 100% rain. It hits something, it gives it a debuff. Like, I think Chase Blister is a magical defense debuff, and Soul Strike is a physical defense debuff. One of the two. And if you combo them and Soul Strike into Soul Strike, you debuff the enemy, your team can do more damage to it, you do more damage to it. It's really awesome. They might both be magical defense and Lightning Slash is the physical defense. I'm not too sure on that, but they work really well. Like, you can make a rhyme, and if you had Fusion Bear or just Crucifix Fuse and you had all the rain in the world, or even a Reverence 3, and you went like Chase Blister, Rain of Judgment, Sublime, you can do a lot of damage. You could take out like Eldritch Beast. You could, if you use your elements right, like Tentuki, things that are weak to rain, staff can dominate. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Like, my rhyme staff has I'll pull it out here. I have a rhyme staff that I want to play with it when I get Fusion Bear, honest to God. My rhyme staff has Chase Blister, Rain of Judgment 7, Soul Strike 7, and then it has Blistering Ice Wave, Sublime. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that really good. It was lit. Like, I saw it and I was like, oh man, I gotta do it. Yeah. You did. It was really cool. I never got Rain of Judgment Sublime, so I had to stick with Blistering Ice Wave, but it's still really cool. Like, the Sublimes for staff, Blistering Ice Wave Sublime, like Nether Illusion Trap Sublime. Like, these can be explored and can dominate when done right. Like, Nether Illusion Trap Sublime on like a Supreme Lancelot, GG. Like, the Lancelot weapons for staff won't be out for a couple of months or so, but it's coming. You know, when that comes, I'm making one for my personal use. Like, that's my next staff, but people are gonna love it. You got like 5 of the bloody things we're rolling for Dark Tornado. Oh man, damn. Like, what else is there? I was just thinking of something. And there's also the Blitz Tiamat staff for swag points. Like, it exists. It's like, I don't know what's better, the Blitz Tiamat staff or the El Sin staff, but like, it's interesting. It is really interesting. Like, I want to double check real quick, because when I do the offensive staff guide, it's going to be a lot more focused on weapons and how to build them up and stuff, like I said in the past. But I want to see the difference between the Tiamat, because I never really looked at the Blitz Tiamat staff. So if I go like 5, is it going to show up for like 5? 5-tailed dragon, okay. It should show up. The 5-tailed dragon white flash, 120 weapon. It's got 83,000 attack. Where's the El Sin? Oh, there's the El Sin. So it is stronger than the El Sin by 500 attack? No, by like 800 attack. It's 800 attack stronger. It grinds exactly the same, but it is stronger than the El Sin. It has a bonus of 1 damage. The El Sin has a bonus of 2 damage at 25%. So it is a higher rate. That is friggin' cool. 40 impact, negative pierce, negative slice, plus 45 holy, 45 lightning, negative dark, negative mountain. Gives you 10 crit, and if your mind is at 120 or higher, you get the extra attack. That's pretty cool. And you get extra defense. It's a really cool staff. Yeah, like a staff user with the 5-tailed dragon, the Blitz Tiamat staff, 10% attack on that. That's really cool. It's no Lancelot, like a reverence would be better for holy, but for lightning, that is pretty cool. Like, how much lightning does it give you? 45 lightning. The El Sin gives you what, 60 lightning? No, it's 40 lightning. So it's better. So you can make an El Sin for holy and then a Tiamat for lightning. That'd be really cool. That'd be really, really cool. Because it's at a 25% chance of triggering. That'd be really fun. 5-tailed dragon, rolling thunder, and then thunder lance. That'd be awesome. Because staff does have lance. That'd be so cool. Like, that'd be so much swag. Oh my god. Be awesome. But one thing I just want to touch on before I end this is, even if you were to go full support staff, never go like full support staff. Like, always bring like a dagger, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying bring like a twin sword or whatever, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna go in with like staff mags and stuff, don't just go full support. Make sure you have like a rhyme or like some weapon that has like holy light, holy pillar, shadow ball, chase blister, whatever, something you can defend yourself with in case your teammate dies, runs out of reses, DCs. You never know what's going to happen. Like, make sure you're not defenseless so you can play the game when your buddies aren't online. Like, I'd say, like, you know, have the cross for the full support, have another staff for like, you know, the cure, all that, one for rezzing. It's fine to mix them up if you want, but if you're going to be pure staff, you're probably going to have a staff for everything. That's generally the case, is you're going to have a staff for everything. You never get notifications. Make sure you have that little bell clicked, Julian. Then that'll help you get notifications from me if you have the little bell click to the subscription button. So, like, I think you just got to, like, unsubscribe and then resubscribe and then hit the little bell, and you should get notifications. But yeah, if I was staff, I would have my 3 other staffs for buffing, and then I'd have 1 staff with whatever I'm going into. Did the link... I was the one who put... Oh, did the link in the... Yeah, the Magatama Dissolution worked, yeah. Yeah, I used it. It works really cool. Yeah, thank you, Isaiah. But yeah, that's what I want to say is make sure you have, like, some attack stuff on you. Like, you know, depending on your situation, because it's very easy for a staff user to, you know, you could have, like, a Nova with some buff skills on it, but for the Ogies, you could just have double Fire Lance, because fire is important. Or you could have a Rhyme with, you know, Chase Blister, Reign of Judgment, and then, like, double Ice Lance. You know, those Ogies are going to be your main attacks anyway. Like, you should take advantage of it. Like, you could make a cross as well. Like, it's so cool. Like, you could make the cross for full support, and then since, like I said, Rapid Storm and Medi don't really matter too much for your attack, like, you could just have, like, Thunderlance on it or something. If you wanted, you don't have to. It's at some point the cross would be the weaker weapon to have, but, you know, you could have a guard for every situation and put, you know, you have the embers on it and the lance. You could take advantage of that. But generally, staff's main damage will come from Ogies. However, moves like Chase Blister, Soul Strike, Shadow Ball, they're all going to come in handy. So that's just what I wanted to say. So hopefully you guys enjoyed learning a bit more about support staff and how it works and stuff like that. So expect the second part, like an attack staff guide, probably tomorrow. I said I'd do them both today, but time's been ticking for a while and I haven't really done anything yet because I did the whole Discord setup and all that. But yeah, so I'll probably pump out the offensive staff guide after I research it a bit more, because when I look at staff I get really excited and I want to make sure I look at everything right, and I want to aim more towards like gargoyles and stuff, and then I want to look at other stuff later on. So I'll probably look at everything just to give us hype. What am I saying? But yeah, I want to just do the whole attack staff thing later. So hopefully you enjoyed this guide on support staff. If you have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to comment, you know, anytime you want. There is the new Aurogiri Discord and the Help Center Discord. So me and my friend run each of them. And we just really set them up like yesterday and today. And one of them is just a place you can hang out, you know, Aurogiri people, ask anything you want. And the other one's going to be more like empirical, more like, you know, for people that have specific questions about builds and stuff. The Help Center, you can go in, ask anything, and the people there will just help you out. I'm going to be there. You know, it's going to be lots of fun. So, you know, check those out. The link will be in the description after the video. I'm going to put them in there. And hopefully I'll see you guys around. And on the Discord, we do have a place for video suggestions, general questions. You know, I'll have a section for frequently asked questions. Lots of things, lots of topics. And hopefully it'll help out the community a lot more than, you know, than we already are. So that said, I'm going to get on out of here. And you guys have yourselves a great evening. Remember, there's only 1 week left to farm for Lancelot, so get that done.